Hi, this is Andy Quick. In this video I'm going to show you how to write a robot that will open up a website and grab some data from the website and just play that back to the user. Capturing data from websites is very handy and is used in many robots. So for this example purposes only, we're at google.com and we're just going to have our bot say, what is the weather today in New Orleans? And we'll search that, and then in New Orleans right now it's 57 degrees, so we're going to have our bot grab that 57. That's what our goal is to try to get our bot to actually do that. So let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our task editor, and the first command we're going to use is open program file. So find O for open program file. I drop that in and type the URL for the website, www.google.com, and I'm actually going to close this and click the launch program file. Now it knows to open Google, open the your Internet Explorer. So the application has the file association with that as a URL, so it knows to open it up. So I'm going to click save. Next thing we're going to do is insert keystrokes. Drop that over. The window will be Google Internet Explorer. Always make sure that the window name is correct. And we're going to type in, what is the weather today in New Orleans? Okay. Now, remember that when I open it and after I type that in, I actually have to hit the enter key. Now, I could choose to hit the search button, or I could just hit enter. So if I'm just going to hit enter, which is what I'm going to do in this bot example, I would just hit the enter key. Alternatively, I could use object cloning to click the Google search button, but I'm going to keep it simple. So what is the weather today in New Orleans? Now I could physically press the enter key, but when I physically press the enter key and I enter it, note that you don't really see the enter key. I mean, you kind of know that it's there now, but if you go back and edit this command, it won't be obvious that you hit the enter key. So a better practice is to choose down from the keyboard below. You have some keys that are already there available for you. In this case, there's the enter key. And when I insert that keystroke, note that I have the bracketed word enter in all capital letters. I know there's an enter there. So I always, when there is a key that I can use below in this keyboard, I use that every time so that I know that it's there and I can see it. I'm going to click save. Now I'm going to go back to my bot, back to my website, and I'm going to basically get to where it needs to be, and I'll say, what is the weather today in New Orleans? Okay, I'm going to get to this place, and I'm going to use I'm going to use object cloning to actually get this 57 degrees. So I scroll down to object cloning. I'm going to drag that across. The window, now note, the window has changed. What is the weather today in New Orleans? It's not just the Google one. Now to do object cloning, I'm going to hold down my left mouse button. It's going to go to that window. I'm going to start moving around to try to find that 57. There it is. I've got the flashing red box around the number. I'm going to let go. I'm not going to move my mouse while I do that. It's going to pause, and now I'm back. Now let's see if it got it. We want to see 57 in the HTML inner text, and there it is. That's where the actual value gets stored, because that's the HTML inner text property of that particular object. So over on the select action to perform, we're going to pick get property, and the property is going to be HTML inner text, because we know that's where the temperature is. I didn't create a variable, so I'm just going to use prompt assignment, which is a variable that is given to you automatically by Automation Anywhere. You can see my other video about variables and variable concepts if you want to brush up on variables and what they're used for. I'm going to click save. Okay, and there it is, and it gives you a little hint about what it's actually cloning. And last but not least, I'm going to drop in a message box. And for the caption, I'm going to say, I found the weather in New Orleans. And I'm going to say the weather in New Orleans is, and I'm going to press F2, and I'm going to choose prompt assignment for my variable list because I know that's where, or hope that's where the weather is, to play it back to the user. Okay, I'm going to save my bot. Okay, I'm going to close the browser because now I want everything closed because my bot is going to do this work for me. I'm going to hit run, and hopefully it'll work. Okay, it's opening the browser. It's trying to do the cloning. It looks like it skipped the keystrokes. Okay, so it's now trying to object clone the weather. So what happened was we went too quickly. So I'm going to stop the bot. I'm actually glad this happened in this exercise. And after I open Google, I'm going to put a delay in here. So a delay just kind of slows things down. So I'm going to put a delay, and I'm going to just delay for, let's just say 5 seconds to give a chance for the website to load. So all I did was insert a delay to allow time for the Google window to open, to load before we actually put in the keystrokes. Let's try it again. Okay, it's now in delay. It's waiting. It looks like it's still not working. It's trying to object clone. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, for some reason it didn't want to do the object cloning. It's possible it didn't catch the window name. I'm not really sure why it didn't work, but let's see what we can do to correct this problem. It should be there. Interesting. Let's try a 7-second delay. Okay, still having trouble. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try to, oh, it lost the window name. Check this out. Notice that the window name wasn't selected, so it should be Google. I don't know why that happened. I'm not really sure. But let's try it one more time. Somehow it lost the window name. Very interesting. I'm glad this actually is happening during the creation of this video because it's important to learn how to troubleshoot issues as they come up. So I suspect that the window name, oh, there it goes. Somehow the window name got lost. And it's trying to object clone. It's trying to grab that 57 degrees. Sometimes it takes a minute. And actually, I think I see the problem. It'll probably fail on this object cloning, and I want you to see what happens when object cloning fails. So right now, it's searching that web page, and it's trying to get that 57 degrees. But if you look at the URL, look at the top of the URL. So here's an error: cannot find window titled, etc., etc., etc. So note that this URL has a lot of extra stuff in it. So the bot had trouble finding this window because it's got some extra stuff in the window name. So the way to get around that is I'm going to double click on my object cloning command. Okay. And the problem is that there's more stuff in the window that we can't see, more parameters and so forth that are extending out. So what you can do in the window, instead of putting the full window name, because it's going to change every time. You can actually select part of it. I'm selecting that, I'm deleting it. And you can wildcard the rest by using an asterisk. So now it's going to pick up the window that has this information in it, and it doesn't matter what's past it. It'll get it every time. So I'm going to click Save. Now it's going to ask me, is this what you're trying to get to? And I'm going to say OK. And I may even go wildcard even further and say, let's see what this is. I'll just say, what is the weather? Right? And it should be able to find it. I just wildcarded it, so it's going to look for a window that says, I'm going to click OK. It's saying, is this the window that you're trying to get? All right, I'm going to click Save. And let's try to run it again. I'm always closing Internet Explorer after I run my bot. Okay, it's going to go to Google. It's on its delay. Okay, inserting keystrokes. Gets to the weather page. And it got it. Notice it came back very quick. The weather in New Orleans is 57. So this is an example of how to scrape some data off a website, and you can see some trouble that I had with picking the right window names to grab the data using object cloning. And this ends the video. Thank you.